nice game setter. We ballin' like the playoff. We ballin' like the playoff. We ballin' like game setter. Game setter.
What up? It's your boy Cardinal Red, and we back for some more of that Ali Land Daily Boxing Talk, people. And today we talking, how does it end? Errol Spence Jr. versus Danny Garcia, plus Pacquiao news. Alright, y'all, and I'm gonna give y'all the rest of the footage of me taking the walking bridge in Louisville, Kentucky. Also some footage of my 30-day, which turned into a 60-day Pacquiao challenge of me taking a quick walk through my neighborhood, with my weight vest, just to get my cardio in for the day, get my legs strong. And I'm gonna finish with making you guys a lentil soup topper for my rice, what I'm using to bulk up with, so you get to see one of the meals that I prepare for myself to try to bulk up just a little bit. Alright, y'all, so how does Danny Garcia versus Errol Spence Jr. end for both fighters? Personally, I think Errol Spence Jr. is the more technical of the two fighters. Of course, Danny Garcia is more of a brawling style fighter, and unfortunately for Danny Garcia, I think that plays right into the hands of Errol Spence Jr. I think his technical abilities will allow him to outlast whatever Danny Garcia brings to the table as far as being a brawling fighter. I've watched some videos, man, and people are saying Danny Garcia is the hardest puncher Errol Spence has ever faced. Some people are saying Danny Garcia is the underdog. You know what? Me personally, man, I say every fighter has a chance. Every fighter has a punching chance in every fight. And I don't want to just count Danny Garcia out of this fight, but I think there's so much on the line for Errol Spence Jr. After the accident, such a long layoff, that if he takes a loss at this point in his career, it's really going to be catastrophic to whatever he's trying to accomplish in the future. And I think because of all that, maybe weighing on him, on Errol Spence a little bit, I think you're gonna see the best Errol Spence we've ever seen. I think he was able to rebuild himself into something even better. I've watched a little bit of his footage of him working out and sparring and stuff, and he looks really good, man. Now the question of the day will be, how does he take a punch? The same way we had to wait and see how's Kell Brook gonna react when he got hit by Terence Crawford. We're gonna have to wait and see how Errol Spence reacts when Danny Garcia makes contact with a solid punch. Nobody knows yet because we haven't seen Spence fight since the accident. But in my personal opinion, I think this fight plays right into Errol Spence's hands. I think the only way for Danny Garcia to win this fight is to knock Spence out. And, because of the accident, I think in a lot of people's mind, there's a very high probability that Danny Garcia does land something special and may knock Errol Spence out, because of the results of the car accident. If you saw Errol Spence's face, obviously he made some serious contact with the pavement during that accident. So, at this point, all I can say is I think Errol Spence is still just the better of the two fighters. I think he's the more technical of the two fighters. I think his skill set is higher than Danny's. I think he's just an all-around better athlete than Danny Garcia, me personally. And like I said, taking nothing away from Danny, I think the only way he wins is by knockout. I think Danny he's gonna have to change something in his boxing repertoire to be able to handle Spence. Spence is the bigger of the two fighters, the stronger of the two fighters. Of course, like I said, the more technical of the two fighters. So what can he exploit other than, a possibility of Spence being a little bit damaged after the accident? and we're not gonna find out that until the fight starts, so let me know what y'all think about that down in the comment section, man. Who is the better of these two fighters, and who do you guys have winning this fight? Me personally, I got Spence winning. I got Spence winning by knockout, actually, but I'm not predicting a round. I just think he has the ability to take Danny Garcia down and take him down by knockout. The aftermath, what happens for both fighters after this fight. I think Errol Spence Jr., if he wins, he sets himself up for a potential big money fight with Manny Pacquiao. If Danny Garcia wins, he becomes a household name. He becomes a boxing legend after that. It's really going to boost his career if he can be the guy who gives Errol Spence his first loss. He's going to really give his name a big boost, and he'll be attracting bigger crowds and making bigger money. And potentially, maybe Pacquiao fights him next, because he will have the titles at that point. So there's a lot at stake in this fight, and I think if Danny Garcia comes in with the right mindset, he can actually pull this off. But I still got Earl winning. I don't want to go against Earl, man. I think Earl is the truth. I think he's the next level, and I really want to see this Errol Spence Jr. versus Manny Pacquiao fight if it comes to fruition. Now let's get into a little bit of Pacquiao news. So, was going through my articles for the day on Manny Pacquiao, and the Gainesville Sun is where you can go find this article, but they have an article called, Qatar lined up to stage Pacquiao Crawford fight in 2021. So the Gainesville Sun, if you want to go check out this article, and basically they're saying, preparing to host the 2020 World Cup, Qatar is now looking to attract big name boxing. Promoter Bob Arum has been in talks with Qatar officials about bringing a welterweight unification bout between Manny Pacquiao and Terence Crawford to the engine-rich Gulf nation. The coronavirus pandemic prevented it from taking place this weekend, but top-ranked CEO hopes it goes ahead there next year. Alright, so I don't want to read the whole article, but basically, I think everybody knows by now that Pacquiao was set to fight. He was actually set to fight Mikey Garcia, and he was set to fight Terence Crawford. So, he was in preparations to have both of those fights signed. And, of course, the pandemic in the world kind of threw all of that off course. But obviously, it didn't stop Bob Arum from staying in contact with the officials over there and trying to get a welterweight fight to happen over there. Will it happen next? There's a possibility. Terence Crawford says he only wants Spence or Pacquiao, and he says that no matter what, he should be the A side. So I don't know what's up with Terence Crawford and his cockiness. They've pumped his head up so much that he really believes that he deserves the bigger of the 60-40 split. I don't see why it even matters that much to him, because here's the thing, for a guy like Crawford, who's really not a fan favorite at this point, it bodes in your hands to go ahead and take the 40% and build your fan base, because even at 40%, you're going to be making millions of dollars if you fight Pacquiao. So what you're going to get in return for not receiving the higher percentage of the money is a higher percentage of fans if you beat him. And even if you fight him, your fan base is going to go through the roof. So why not even take the fight as a 60-40 split for Pacquiao, or even take the fight as a 60-40 split with Spence, because your fan base is going to go through the roof. This is what he's missing in his career at this point, is a bigger fan base. And he's only hurting himself by turning down these fights, because he's looking like he's ducking fighters at this point. It's not like Pacquiao's ducking him. It's more like it seems like he's ducking these fights And the reason he's using is that they're not giving me the bigger cut of the money, even though in the Errol Spence situation you don't deserve it, because like I keep saying, you have no bargaining chips over there at Top Rank. You have nobody else to fight. All the good welterweights are at PBC, so all the bargaining chips are in Errol Spence's hands. And on the Pacquiao tip, I mean, you can't command the higher cut when you're fighting Manny Pacquiao. You just can't, because Pacquiao is the attraction. He's bringing in the crowd. He's the reason you're going to be on pay-per-view. So why not just suck it up and take the smaller cut? Let me know what y'all think about that down in the comment section, man. I hope y'all enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe. Tell a friend. Tell your dog, your cat, your mama, your daddy about Ali Land, Boxing Talk, and Cardinal Red, man. We're trying to grow the platform as big as we can get it. And with your help, we can make that possible, man. Like always, believe in yourself, follow your dreams, and your dreams will come true. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and the recipe. Hit that like button for me if you did, and we out of here.
Every night's game center. We ballin' like the playoff. We ballin' like the playoff. We ballin' like game center.